Hello and welcome to Politics Tonight, where we dig and go beyond the headlines for informed analysis of major political stories in Nigeria. I am Olajumoke Olatunji. It's a brand new weekend with less than 25 days to the conduct of the 2023 general election. More legal and electoral fireworks are dominating the polity. The Federal High Court, Abuja, dismisses suit by a former presidential candidate of Hope Democratic Party, Ambrose Owuru, against the election of President Muhammadu Buhari in the 2019 elections. On the interview segment for today, we will examine Oyetola's victory in the Osun State Governorship Election Petitions Tribunal and the 2023 permutation with a former Commissioner for Information in Edo State and member of APC, Kasim Afegbua, as our guest tonight. Welcome to Politics Tonight. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Politics Tonight. The Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has dismissed a suit by a former presidential candidate of Hope Democratic Party, Ambrose Owuru, against the election of President Muhammadu Buhari, who was the candidate of the All Progressives Congress APC in the 2019 elections. Justice Inyang echoed throughout the suit on three grounds, which include that the suit constituted a gross abuse of court process, it was statute barred, and an affront to the supremacy of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Justice Eko also held that the suit was baseless, frivolous, and vexatious in its entirety. The plaintiff, Owuru, had in the suit applied for an order of the court to declare the presidential seat vacant and swear him in as the authentic winner of that election. Owuru wants the court to determine the legality of INEC's decision to shift the election from February 16 to March 23, 2019. He prayed the court to remove President Buhari and declare him the authentic president, and that he should be compelled to refund all monies he collected as salaries, emoluments, and security votes. Similarly, the Federal High Court sitting in Jalingo, Taraba State, has dismissed a case of certificates forgery against the governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress APC in the state. Senator Emmanuel Bacha delivering judgments in the suit filed by an APC chieftain, David Kente. Justice Bala Usman said the plaintiff could not prove his case of criminal forgery against the defendants beyond any reasonable doubt, as is required by law. The plaintiff had challenged the authenticity of the secondary school certificate and degree certificate presented to the Independent Electoral Commission, INEC, by Senator Bacha.
Judgment has just been delivered by the Federal High Court Jalingo, which went in the favor of Mr. Emmanuel Bacha. The decision of the court is in brief because, there is so much time constraint if you look at the time we're here. So it is when we get the full judgment, we will study it, and then we'll be able to advise our client on the next step to take.
The law is very clear. When allegations of crime are made, even in civil suit, the burden of proof is beyond reasonable doubt. And that is why the plaintiff has failed woefully to establish. They didn't even call any witness from the institutions, from the primary school, from the university, from CPS, Yola, where the third defendant attended. There's no any disclaimer from this institution. And then there's also no any genuine certificate, because you say that somebody has forged. So you have to supply a certificate that is genuine to prove your case before the court that, yes, indeed, the person has forged his.
All right, let's take a short break, and when we return, it will be time to speak with the former Commissioner for Information in Edo State and member of the APC, Kasim Afegbua, on Oyetola's victory in the Osun State Governorship Election Petitions Tribunal and the 2023 permutations. Stay with us. Tonight, digging beyond the headlines. And now to our interview with the guests of the day. I am now joined by the former Commissioner for Information in Edo State and member of the All Progressives Congress APC, Kasim Afegbua, on Oyetola's victory in the Osun State Governorship Election Petitions Tribunal and the 2023 permutations. Thank you very much for joining us, sir.
Thank you very much. But please just take note that I'm not a member of APC.
All right. Noted. Now let's begin with the Osun State Governorship Election Petitions Tribunal. What is your view of this judgment?
Well, I saw this judgment coming barely 2 weeks ago when I had an interview with one of the television houses. I told them that with the fraud they perpetrated in the Osun election, that they were going to knock out that election because it was obvious that they tampered with the BVAS. That was why you had two different scenarios. The APC collected the proper certified true copy of the BVAS report. After 30 days, PDP collected their own what they call synchronized BVAS report. So when you have two scenarios like that, you already know that there were discrepancies. Don't forget that in Ede, the stronghold of Adeleke, voting took place up to about 7 p.m. that day. And so that gave room for manipulation. And I said that BVAS can be tampered with because I had accused the Atiku camp that they were training personnel that would go to tamper with BVAS with respect to 2023 election. The Osun election has just given us a scenario of what is possible and what is not possible. But I'm happy that the decision of the tribunal was in line with my thinking that you can tamper with BVAS, but you cannot go through with it. So I didn't expect anything less than knocking off the dancing governor Adeleke from that position.
All right, I'm glad you mentioned the word discrepancies. So who do we blame for these discrepancies we have just witnessed?
Well, you blame both the candidate of the PDP and those who colluded with him in the process of manipulating, the electoral process and the election proper. Because under the new arrangement of BVAS, your accredited voters ought to be the same with result that you declare. But in this case, the incidence of overvoting was established such that by the time they subtracted it from the revotes, they discovered that Adeleke now became a runner-up while Oyetola won, and by virtue of the provision of the Electoral Act as amended, the tribunal was bound to declare anybody who has majority who has fulfilled all the requirements as provided in the Electoral Act, having majority votes in 2/3 of the local government of the state. And so, in the heart of hearts of Adeleke and his co-travelers, they know surely that they tamper with the process, particularly in Ede, where he comes from. And that is why the BVAS was able to establish that what do you call synchronized BVAS report, which they obtained 30 days after the tribunal. And there was one after the election. Then the certified true copy was obtained by the APC, where they established that what they have in the BVAS was different from the votes that they had on ground. The incidence of voting was established. And once that is established, the law is very clear on that.
All right, it's also very important for us to look at the split judgment. What issues do you think this has brought up?
Well, the split judgment is talking about the people not pleading what was granted by the tribunal. Well, in every litigation, you are bound to, particularly election issue, there are bound to be people, someone or one or two persons who will not agree with the judgment. So no problem about that. When they go to appeal court, the appeal court will do justice to it, but nothing will change because I know specifically that they tamper with the BVAS in that Osun election. I've raised alarm also that they are planning to use the same method for the 2023 election. But thank God that this one will now be an eye-opener for everyone. So we'll be more vigilant in the re-election of 2023 across all the states of the Federation so that Atiku and his co-hackers will not tamper with the fluidity and the flow of election on that day.
All right, so this is coming less than a month to the presidential election. What impact do you think this will have on the electoral fortune of APC and the PDP in the 2023 elections?
You see, the point is this. Anything that will make PDP to lose 2023 election, I am 120% in support of such move. And so I am happy that this one has put spanner in their works in Osun State, because it was an unmerited victory in the first place. You cannot tamper with the BVAS doing online accreditation, doing overvoting, and you want to go away with it. No, that's not possible. I also expect that INEC will refuse to appeal this judgment, because it has no business appealing. If adeleke let him go and appeal, that is his own burden. But INEC should know that it's an unbiased umpire, and they should work within the ambits of the law and just allow this thing to go seamlessly. The point is, 2023 election, BVAS will be deployed. But like I said, there are people who are training experts, hackers, and all that, trying to tamper with the process on that day. This social election outcome will be like a check on those kind of persons who are very desperate in Atiku's camp. And I say this with full authority, knowing that persons have gone to some places to go and learn how they can use a backdoor method to enter into the BVAS and what have you. And I said it 2-3 weeks ago that the Osun election, that whether they like it or not, once that incident of overvoting was established, they were going to have a problem. And that's exactly what happened. And so it's good for the 2023 elections optics. It's also good for us to be more vigilant in the entire process, because we are going to be covering 173,600 polling units across the Federation. 93.4 million persons will be voting in that election. And so every member of the ruling party, electorates and all of that, they have to be vigilant at the polling unit level and all of that, so that if they say election should stop by 5, stop by 5. If election should stop by 4, please stop by 4. But in the case of Osun, they voted up to 6 p.m., 7 p.m., and they were saying results were still being awaited. That was where they did all the manipulation. And today the tribunal had just put a lie to that and knocked the guy off.
All right, Mr. Afegbua, we still have a lot to talk about, but that will be right after this commercial break. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.